What's going on, everybody? It's your boy PTK Blam back in the building with another video straight out the oven for you guys, man. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you for the support on the videos, support on these individual videos, the podcast as well. You guys have been amazing. Channel's growing. You guys are loving the content. It's an exciting time here at the Shop Podcast. So if you're new, or just the channel in general, if you're new, subscribe, hit the like button. I love you guys so much. You guys have been amazing. And this week is a very, very special week in particular for the Shop Podcast. It is episode 300, a huge milestone. Never ever thought we'd get to this point, but here we are. So we're gonna have a bunch of old friends, a bunch of new friends. Everybody's coming to hang out this Saturday, 6 p.m. AZ time, 9 p.m. EST. So come hang out with us, have a bunch of fun. It's gonna be some familiar faces as well showing up, hanging out with us. So I appreciate you guys so much. But we're gonna dive into today's video. So it's funny because sometimes I record these videos and then things happen right after. And sometimes I'm glad that I hadn't put out the video just yet. So we're talking a little bit about just acquisitions and everything going around surrounding Xbox, PlayStation, the future acquisitions, things like that. Now, obviously, with the recent news that the CMA blocked the Activision deal on Xbox side, we'll get into that a little bit later. But once again, this is the benefit sometimes of doing videos later on in the week. But I just kind of want to give a brief overview of kind of what I think is going to happen with each company and, some of the things I think from my perspective that, will happen. So we're going to start with Xbox on this one. Obviously, my preferred platform, my preferred console, and they are in a very I don't want to say odd position, but they're in a new position for the company, right? So on one hand, you have this company that you spent $70 billion on, and you're all in at this point. You can't back out. There's no way you can reverse what you've already done. On the other hand, you have a ton of games that you've already talked about. You got 25 other studios that are fully your studios, and they're pumping out games, and your fan base are expecting these games to come out. So it's a bit of a balancing act, because I do believe, because of this huge acquisition, that they've kind of had to tread lightly. They've backtracked on some things haven't come out. Maybe it's slowed down some things that they normally would have done by now. I absolutely think it's affected them, not necessarily negatively, but I think it's slowed down, and everything they do now is pretty deliberate, to try and get this Activision deal done. But I don't think that once that gets done at some point, which I still believe it will, I don't think they're done acquiring companies, because Game Pass isn't going anywhere. And the most recent information we got on that earnings call from Microsoft is that was one of the areas of the service that actually grew. So the subscriptions are up. It actually was profitable. So they have to continue to feed the beast that is Game Pass. And to do that, it requires to have consistent flow of games. And the only way to do that is to insulate yourself. And I've always said that when they started this shopping spree 5 years ago, I said that's the only way they're going to make this Game Pass thing work, is they got to be able to make the type of games that they need to put in Game Pass. They cannot rely on third parties to continue to support Game Pass. Now, they're going to support Game Pass, but what I mean is there are specific games and things that they can just do on their own now that they have all these studios, and I don't think that's going to end. So it's a bit of a balancing act for Xbox. I don't think it's going to slow down. It's slowed down right now, but I don't think they're going to just go on another long shopping spree. But from here on out, I think they will make some deliberate purchases. I don't think the studios will be super large. We might see another large one down the line. You never know with Microsoft and Xbox. Another thing is just managing expectations with your fans for Xbox, right? That's one thing about the Xbox community. It's up and down. It's a bit of a roller coaster ride. And Xbox hasn't been adept at managing expectations sometimes. Now, part of this, especially recently, I will give to the ABK stuff. The other part is just, for whatever reason, there seems to be an issue with continuity from the head all the way down, through the dev. And sometimes that shows itself when you get marketing, when you don't get these games shown in the right light, the games aren't performing the way they should. Like, it's so many things you can look at that, but they have a lot of moving parts right now. It is going to be a major balancing act, and trying to keep Xbox fans happy in the meantime is going to be extremely tough. But at the end of the day, you have the games, you have the studios, you have the talent, you have the resources to make sure you can do both. So I do expect there to be some changes. This year, in my opinion, has already been far better than 2022, irregardless of the delays, the 30 FPS stuff, you know what I mean, it not hitting the 12-month date, it's already been way better than 2022. So that's kind of where I'm at with Xbox. I don't think they're going to stop. There's obviously some companies that I think that they should go for a certain affinity. Some people say Sega if they want to get a foothold in Japan. There's all type of cool things that they can do, and I think they will explore these options once this ABK stuff is out of the way, right? Now the pipeline is clear, we can get back to business as usual. So that's kind of where I'm at with Xbox. And on the Sony side of things, they're in a different position. They have a different kind of uphill battle. Sony doesn't have the issue of, well, if we do something, everybody's going to call us out for it. They have phenomenal brand strength. Their games speak for themselves. The industry shifts every time Sony or PlayStation do something. Like they drop a trailer that, they got a ton of brand loyalty. They got phenomenal fans. I mean, I'm even a fan of PlayStation as well. I know we on the other side of the fence, but at the end of the day, we all gamers. So, they don't have that issue. But what Sony doesn't have is that the industry is moving in a different direction. More digital, cloud gaming, Game Pass, that type of stuff, games as a service. Now they're working on the games as a service stuff, and they've made a bunch of acquisitions. They've made about, I'd say 5 or 6 in the last probably 2 years. And a lot of them are smaller companies outside of the Bungie deal. A lot of the other deals were smaller companies, and most of the companies actually already previously worked with Sony or made games for PlayStation. So, those are familiar faces, but I don't think they're going to stop there. I do think some people will oppose me on this. I do think Sony needs to go after one big fish. They do need to see if they have the ability to grab a publisher. Now, a lot of people are saying Square, one of the other Japanese companies, but I do think Square makes the most sense for Sony because of the relationship that they already have. Final Fantasy is synonymous, which is probably the biggest franchise that Square has, is synonymous with PlayStation, just like Elder Scrolls is with Xbox. So I think that would be a match made in heaven. Maybe Sony doesn't want to do it. Maybe Square doesn't feel like they need to. I think if they make one big purchase, I think that fills in the gap that Sony has. Obviously, there's some other things that they need to do, and they're going to have to bulk up as far as, this claim of, we have 15 games as a service games we're going to be dropping in the next, 5 years, 2-3 years or so. You need studios to be able to do that. And we've already seen them acquiring these small studios, and that will not stop. Because the reason being, just to tie this all together, is because you have Amazon, you have Netflix, you have Google. All of these larger companies are throwing their hats in the ring and are buying companies, buying talent, buying studios, buying IPs, and they're taking they're dipping their toes in the video game industry. And if they have any little bit of success, I don't think these companies are going to stop. They're going to try and work their way into this video game industry, and they have a lot of money, they have a lot of influence, and Sony doesn't have the type of wallet Apple, Google, Netflix has. So they have to be, a bit more strategic about what they do. That's going to be the different type of battle that Sony has, and they're more than well equipped. They're more than well equipped to deal with everything, all the changes that's going on. So overall, consolidation is going to happen. Some people don't like it. Some people saying, well, I don't want one company owning everything. That's never going to happen. There's too many companies. There's too many new companies, new studios, new devs. Every other day on Twitter, I'm seeing a congratulations on a brand new studio open from some previous devs that work somewhere else. That's always happening. Consolidation is a good thing and done in moderation, because what happens is how many studios that are small get bought and end up being able to make AAA games where if they were on their own, they were unable to do that. This consolidation affords opportunities to these smaller studios that otherwise wouldn't have the money and or resources. So it's not bad inherently, but done in moderation and done the right way with the right companies joining up, it makes perfect sense. And I don't think it's going to slow down as this industry grows and this digital cloud age grows. So that's where I'm at. And you guys let me know what you guys think about acquisition season, consolidation, where are we going from here with everything going on with both companies? Just let me know that in the comment section. And once again, come hang out with us at the Shop Podcast episode 300 this Saturday, 6 p.m. AZ time, 9 p.m. EST. It's going to be a movie, I promise you. And once again, I appreciate you guys so much. All the love, all the outpour on the channel, all the engagement. You guys are amazing. So enjoy the rest of your day. I will talk to you guys again soon. Peace out.